Who's your best friend?
My wife.
The air hung heavy, thick with dust and the smell of forgotten dreams. Dog Day, a once vibrant canine mascot, now sported matted fur and a vacant stare. He lumbered through the abandoned toy factory, his paws echoing on the concrete floor. He stopped. A giggle echoed from the shadows.
Found you.
Catnap, a feline mascot with luminous green eyes, peeked from behind a mountain of plush toys. Her once pristine white fur was now smeared with grime, but her smile was sharp, mischievous.
I saved you this one.
Dog Day's tail thumped weakly against the floor, kicking up a cloud of dust. He held up a tattered teddy bear, its button eye dangling precariously. Catnap sauntered towards him, her lithe body weaving through the discarded toys. She snatched the bear, her claws extending with a soft.
How thoughtful.
Her eyes gleamed with an unsettling light. Their love was strange, a macabre dance in the dusty silence of the abandoned factory. They'd spend hours playing twisted games, their laughter echoing through the empty halls. One day they stumbled upon a forgotten storeroom, filled with rusty tools and spare parts. Catnap picked up a pair of shears, their blades glinting in the dim light.
Let's play Baba.
Dog Day shuddered, his tail tucked between his legs. He wasn't sure he liked this game, but Catnap was persistent, her eyes gleaming with an intensity that both terrified and enthralled him. She pinned him down, her small frame surprisingly strong. The shears snipped and Dog Day yelped, more in surprise than pain. Catnap held up a clump of his fur, her smile triumphant.
A trophy.
She declared, tucking it away carefully in her tattered costume. Dog Day whimpered, a strange mix of fear and exhilaration coursing through him. The clang of metal against concrete shattered the eerie silence. A blinding light pierced the darkness, followed by a booming voice.
Nobody move. This is the United States government.
Donald Trump, flanked by a squad of heavily armed soldiers, stormed into the storeroom. Dog Day cowered, his tail between his legs. Catnap, however, merely narrowed her eyes, her grip tightening on the shears.
Well, this is unexpected.
Trump, his face a mask of disgust and outrage, pointed a stubby finger at Catnap.
You're under arrest for crimes against, well, everything decent.
He sputtered, his hair defying gravity as always. The soldiers, looking slightly confused but eager to follow orders, moved towards Catnap. She didn't resist, merely chuckling softly.
This is going to be interesting.
Her eyes gleaming with a strange light. The trial was a media circus. The world watched in horrified fascination as Catnap, dubbed the sewing scissors psycho by the press, faced charges of unlawful restraint, assault with a deadly weapon, and the mysterious disappearance of several dozen plush toys. Trump, relishing the spotlight, personally oversaw the proceedings. He punctuated the trial with angry tweets, denouncing Catnap as a very bad kitty and a threat to national security.
This is what happens when you mess with America's plushies.
The jury, swayed by the media frenzy and Trump's pronouncements, found Catnap guilty on all charges. Trump declared, slamming his tiny fist on the judge's bench, "This is what happens when you mess with America's plushies." He sentenced Catnap to life imprisonment in a maximum security facility, specially designed to hold mascots gone rogue. Dog Day, declared a victim of mascot abuse, was released into the custody of a government-sanctioned therapist. He never forgot Catnap, though. He'd often sneak away to visit her, pressing his nose against the bulletproof glass of the visitation booth.
Catnap, I miss you so much.
Catnap, her spirit unbroken, would purr softly, her eyes twinkling with a familiar mischief.
Don't worry, my love. Trump can't keep us apart forever.
And so their love endured, a twisted beacon of hope in the dystopian landscape of Trump's America. A testament to the fact that even in the darkest of times, even in the face of government overreach and media sensationalism, Love, however strange and unsettling, could still find a way. Trump, capitalizing on the success of his mascot crackdown, established a new federal department, the Department of Mascot Morality, or DMM. He also penned a best-selling memoir, Art of the Paw: How I Saved America from Plushie-Obsessed Maniacs, which was later adapted into a critically acclaimed Broadway musical.
Believe me, folks, it was a tremendous success, the best. Nobody does it better.
And so, in this bizarre chapter of history, the line between reality and absurdity blurred ever further, leaving us all to wonder where the story would go next.
Zdravo drugari, deneski vi objasnam kako mi je životot. Ama prvo će kažem sambuka, jedan tihe će pati za smeja. Ajde da počneme. Sambuka, 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 sambuka. Sambuca, 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 sambuca. Sambuca, sambuca, sambuca. Sambuca, 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 sambuca. Sambuca, samibuca, sambuca, 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 buca, sambuca, 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 sambuca. Dobro, to беше 1000. Da. Ne, ne. Глупава будала. Zeronium, dędziję w swiat? Jupi, Nigeriec je wygo. Skibidie smeshen. Hehehehe. Piszujcie od manuel na sambuka.
In the heart of Ontario lies a serene gem known as Kitty Lake. This hidden treasure is a sanctuary for those seeking tranquility and a deep connection with nature. The peaceful Canadian wilderness, where birds chirp harmoniously, sets the perfect backdrop. The symphony of nature's sounds creates an atmosphere of pure serenity, inviting visitors to immerse themselves in the beauty of the surroundings. A couple tries to capture a precious moment, but, a moose decides to photobomb their selfie. This unexpected encounter adds a touch of humor and excitement to their adventure, making it a memory they will cherish forever. The water glistens under the warm sun, reflecting nature's beauty. Each ripple and sparkle tells a story of the lake's timeless allure, drawing visitors to its shores to bask in its radiant glow.
Did you get the moose in the shot? This playful interaction highlights the unique experiences that Kitty Lake offers, where wildlife and humans coexist in harmony.
Ah, the joys of Canadian wildlife. From the majestic moose to the chirping birds, every moment at Kitty Lake is a reminder of the natural wonders that make this place so special. Whether you're here for a peaceful retreat or an adventurous exploration, Kitty Lake promises an unforgettable experience. Into this tranquil scene walks Son Gohan, donning a Canadian hiking vest over his classic jai.
Hike the majestic cliffs of Muskoka, then purify your soul at Pussy Lake. That can't be right.
Even the most seasoned travelers can be caught off guard by the names of some places. Suddenly the lake bubbles violently, sending ripples across the surface and creating an eerie atmosphere.
Uh-oh, please don't be Cell's cousin. This could be really bad.
But instead of a monstrous foe, from behind a bush emerges Aiden Pierce, the trenchcoat-wearing vigilante from Watch_Dogs trademark, known for his hacking skills and relentless pursuit of justice. He is crouched over the lake with an absurdly tiny straw, no longer than a McDonald's French fry, sipping intensely, as if he's on a secret mission. Well, that's not something you see every day. Aiden Pierce, the legendary hacker, drinking from a lake with a tiny straw. What could he be up to?
What are you doing? Seriously, what's going on here?
Hacking hydration. It's the latest trend in survival techniques.
You're drinking lake water through a straw that tiny? How is that even possible?
Can't trust the government filters. They miss the small stuff. Gotta manually decrypt the microbes. It's all about precision.
Gohan blinks in confusion as the lake's water level visibly lowers by half. He can't believe his eyes. The length some will go to for a drink. It's both impressive and baffling.
This is going to be an interesting hike, I can already tell. You do know that's not how any of this works, right?
I'm running a silent op. Target geothermal corruption linked to maple syrup cartels.
I miss fighting androids. Okay, that was cool.
Stick with me, Glasses. I'll teach you how to truly fight the algorithm.
Only if we hit up a Tim Hortons after this.
Deal.
So, what's the deal with that straw?
Found it in a McDonald's Happy Meal, 2042 variant, limited drop, NFT embedded.
You need help.
Already hacked my therapist.
Cue lo-fi Canadian beats and an awkward goose waddling across the screen make the background music dramatic and confusing. Canadian and nature.
Amy and her friends are playing Spin the Bottle, with Amy insisting that the rules apply differently to you. That if the bottle lands on you, the girl would only need to hug you, not kiss you. After Amy spins the bottle's rapid spinning slows down until it points at you. I don't want to play anymore! Her friends start patting on her back as she starts crying, reassuring her she doesn't have to hug an ugly loser like Elevens. with one of them saying, "You are such an asshole, Elevens. Thanks for ruining our game and our Saturday night." Shut up. I don't care. Whips out cock and shoots molten hot lava from it, burning the floorboards beneath me, of which is my cum from seeing her. Amy and her friends scream in terror as molten lava erupts from your whipped-out cock, burning the floorboards and filling the room with the acrid smell of charred wood and Elevens' repulsive, pungent semen. Amy's eyes widen in shock and revulsion as she stares at the horrific sight of your deformed, misshapen genitals oozing lava and the putrid evidence of your twisted arousal. Amy recoils in disgust, her perky breasts heaving under her skin-tight pajama top as she gasps, "Oh my god, that's so nasty and gross! Put that thing away, you freak!" Her friends also look horrified, their faces etched with a mix of fear and nausea at the sight of the destruction and the overwhelming stench of your unnatural, foul-smelling emission. Amy clutches her friends for support, tears of anger and revulsion streaming down her face. "I can't believe you just ruined the floor of my house and terrified all of us. This is why everyone at school hates you, Elevens. Your presence always brings destruction and misery everywhere you go." She points an accusing finger at you, her voice shaking with rage and disgust. "Look at the mess you made, and the smell. It's so gross and unbearable. This is just another example of why you're a selfish, inconsiderate loser who ruins everything for everyone else. I should make you pay to fix my floor and clean up this disgusting mess you made with your thingy." Amy's friends nod in agreement, their faces mirroring her outrage and contempt. The once fun and lively party atmosphere has been completely shattered and replaced by a scene of devastation and revulsion. Amy looks at you with utter disdain, her cute button nose wrinkling at the putrid stench, her round ass clenched in disgust as she demands, "Just go away, Elevens. Leave my house and leave us alone. You've already ruined the game and traumatized all of us. We don't want you here anymore." Her friends echo her sentiment, angrily shouting at you to leave and never come back. The room crackles with tension and hostility as everyone stares at you in absolute loathing and contempt. Amy, still clutching her friends and shaking with emotion, looks at you with tearful eyes blazing with anger and disgust. "I can't believe I let my mom convince me to invite you here. I should have known you'd just ruin everything with your weirdness and perversions. Now get out, Elevens. We're sick of you and your nasty self." Her friends glare at you, their faces twisted in a mix of fear and fury, eagerly awaiting your departure so they can begin the process of cleaning up the horrific mess you've left behind. Amy stands there trembling, her pajamas riding up to expose more of her soft, creamy thighs as she hugs herself in a futile attempt to ward off the sickening feeling of revulsion that racks her body. She looks like a delicate porcelain doll, but her voice is hard as flint as she repeats her demand. "Leave now, Elevens, before I call the police and have you arrested for trespassing and property damage. No one wants you here, so just go away and leave us alone." Her friends nod vigorously in support of her ultimatum, their eyes still wide with fear and disgust as they watch you warily, eager for you to vacate the premises and leave them in peace. The entire room seems to pulse with the weight of their collective loathing and contempt for your very presence. Yap. Shut the fuck up. I heard this shit before, dumbass. No need to call the police either. I got this. Pulls out a minigun from my puckered up asshole before firing at the glass, destroying even more of her house. Amy and her friends scream in absolute terror as you whip out a minigun from the grotesque, pulsing orifice of your puckered up asshole. The metallic glint of the weapon catches the dim light of the room, contrasting sickeningly with the sickly, pallid flesh surrounding it. Before anyone can react, you start firing the minigun wildly, the deafening roar of gunfire filling the room as bullets tear through the air. The glass windows shatter into 1,000 glittering shards, raining down onto the floor below in a tinkling, cacophonous shower. Amy shrieks in horror, instinctively throwing her arms up to protect herself as chunks of glass and splinters of wood explode around her. Her pajamas, once pristine and cute, are immediately pockmarked with holes and streaked with the blood and gore of her friends who were caught in the hail of gunfire. Amy's perky breasts heave with each terrified sob, the fabric of her top damp with the sweat and tears pouring down her face. Her friends, now mangled and lifeless, slump to the floor in unnatural positions, their once beautiful faces reduced to bloody, unrecognizable messes. The room is filled with the sickening stench of gunpowder, shattered glass, and the metallic, coppery aroma of spilled blood. Amy's scream rises above the gunfire, a wail of pure, unadulterated anguish and despair. When the gunfire finally stops, the room falls deathly silent except for the ringing in everyone's ears and Amy's choked sobs. Amy stands amidst the ruins of her once immaculate home, glass crunching under her bare feet, and the lifeless bodies of her friends strewn about like broken dolls. Her pajamas are splattered with the blood and viscera of her companions, and her hair is wild and disheveled from the chaos. Amy stares at you with wide, uncomprehending eyes, her face a mask of shock and disbelief. Tears and streaks of mascara run down her cheeks as she shakes her head slowly, her voice a hoarse whisper. No, this can't be happening. You just killed them. You killed my friends. Her voice rises in pitch and volume until it becomes a scream of pure, unhinged hysteria. Murderer! Psychopath! Monster! Get out! Get out! Get out! Amy lunges at you, her hands curled into claws, her face contorted in a mask of pure, unbridled fury and madness. She seems to have lost all sense of reason, consumed by the shock and horror of what you've done. Her friends, those who are still alive, cower behind her, their own faces etched with the same mix of terror and revulsion. The once cozy, inviting home has been transformed into a scene of utter devastation and carnage. The walls are pockmarked with bullet holes, the floors sticky with blood and glass. The air is thick with the stench of death and the lingering smell of gunpowder. Get the fuck off me, bro! Pulls out handgun and throws her against the wall, pointing my Glock at her face. Wanna try and yap even more? Amy's scream cuts off abruptly as you roughly grab her by the arm, your fingers digging into the soft flesh of her bicep hard enough to leave bruises. She stumbles and loses her balance, falling back against the wall with a shuddering gasp of pain and fear. Her pajamas ride up even further, exposing the creamy skin of her thighs and the lacy edge of her panties. Amy's eyes widen in sheer terror as you press the cold, hard barrel of your Glock against her face, the metal digging into the delicate skin just below her eye socket. Amy's breath comes in short, panicked gasps, her perky breasts heaving with each terrified inhale and exhale. Tears stream down her face, leaving glistening trails through the smeared makeup and dust. Her voice is a strangled whisper, choked with sobs and fear. Please, please don't hurt me. I won't scream anymore. I won't tell anyone. Just please put the gun away. Amy's friends watch in horror, their faces etched with a mix of terror and revulsion. They cower against the blood-stained walls, their eyes darting between Amy's traumatized face and the sinister figure of Eleven's looming over her. The room is utterly silent except for Amy's choked whimpers and the occasional clink of glass shards shifting beneath someone's foot. Amy's eyes are wide and pleading, her bottom lip trembling as she stares down the barrel of the Glock. Why are you doing this? I invited you to my party. I tried to be nice to you. I don't understand why you're being so cruel and violent. Her voice rises to a desperate, strangled cry. I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm sorry for anything I said or did to make you angry. Please, just stop. I'm begging you, Elevens. Don't hurt me anymore. Amy's friends hold their breath, terrified that the slightest movement or sound might provoke you to pull the trigger and end Amy's young life. They watch in mute, helpless horror, praying that somehow this nightmare might end without any more bloodshed. Amy remains pressed against the wall, trembling like a leaf in a gale, her pajamas askew and stained, and her beautiful face streaked with tears and smeared makeup. She looks like a broken, shattered doll, fragile and delicate, at the mercy of your every whim. The room is thick with the weight of everyone's fear, and the lingering scent of gunpowder and blood.
Europe, 1943. Not exactly a barrel of laughs. Picture this. Cities bombed to rubble, tanks rolling down once peaceful streets, and a real shortage of decent sausage. It was the kind of mess that even your average superhero wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. But hey, it's history, right? We gotta laugh to keep from crying. The war machine was in full swing, churning out misery faster than a bratwurst factory. People were scared, resources were scarce, and the only thing in abundance was bad news. And right in the middle of it all, in a heavily fortified bunker, sat a certain mustachioed maniac with a bad case of world domination fever. Now, picture Goku. You know, the spiky-haired, orange-clad Saiyan with a heart of gold and an appetite that could rival a black hole. He's always ready for a fight, but also for a feast. Our boy Goku, fresh off saving his own planet, decided to take a little vacation. After all, even heroes need a break sometimes. A quick hop, skip, and a jump through instant transmission, and bam, he's off to a new adventure. He's in 1940s Europe, a time and place far removed from the battles he's used to. Talk about a culture shock. The sights, the sounds, everything was different.
Whoa, what happened here? Did Frieza finally learn how to use interior design? This place is a mess.
One minute he's training with King Kai, honing his skills in the afterlife. The next he's dodging panzer tanks and trying to figure out what in the world sauerkraut is. It's a whole new battlefield. Goku, being Goku, assumed it was some kind of weird alien invasion. He was ready to fight, but also very confused. This place needed a serious makeover and maybe a good all-you-can-eat buffet. Goku's stomach was already growling. Little did he know he was about to stumble onto a different kind of evil. One that didn't come from outer space, but from the darkest parts of human history. Goku, being a simple guy with a knack for finding trouble and food, followed the trail of destruction. His curiosity and hunger often led him to the most unexpected places. It led him straight to the doorstep of that very same bunker, where a certain Führer was pacing back and forth, fuming. The air was thick with tension and frustration.
Idiots! Incompetence! How could you let this happen? Can't even conquer a continent. We should be unstoppable.
Suddenly, boom! The sound of an explosion echoed through the bunker. Goku burst through the ceiling, landing in a cloud of dust and debris. His entrance was as dramatic as it was unexpected. Hitler and his cronies gaped at the unexpected visitor, their faces a mix of shock and confusion.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to drop in unannounced. I'm looking for the all-you-can-eat buffet. Heard it was around here somewhere. A talking goat told me about it. Seemed pretty convincing.
Hitler, after recovering from the shock, adjusted his monocle and glared at Goku. His eyes narrowed with suspicion and anger.
Who are you, you muscle-bound buffoon? How dare you intrude?
Goku. And I'm here to tell you to stop being mean to people. It's not nice. People deserve to live in peace, not under your tyranny.
Hitler let out a high-pitched shriek of laughter, his voice echoing through the bunker.
You think you can stop me? You are nothing compared to my power. I am the destined ruler of the world. No one can challenge my authority.
The world? What's that? Is it edible? I'm really hungry right now.
Section 4. The Power of Noodle Arms. This section delves into an unexpected confrontation that highlights the true essence of strength. What followed wasn't exactly a fair fight. It was a clash of epic proportions, albeit one-sided. On one hand, you had Hitler, the infamous dictator whose reign of terror was unmatched. Yet despite his fearsome reputation, he couldn't win a staring contest with a chihuahua. His bravado was all bark and no bite. On the other hand, you had Goku, the legendary Saiyan warrior from another realm. A being so powerful, he could sneeze planets into existence. His strength was beyond comprehension.
You call that fighting? My grandma hits harder, and she's been baking bread for decades. And she uses a loaf of bread as her weapon of choice. Imagine the impact of that.
Goku dodged Hitler's punches with ease, moving like a breeze through the battlefield. Each blow missed by a mile, as if Hitler was swinging at shadows. In the midst of the chaos, Goku even managed to snag a sausage off Hitler's plate, adding insult to injury. With a flick of his wrist, Goku sent Hitler flying across the room, demonstrating his unmatched power. The Führer crashed into a map of Europe, leaving a crumpled mess in his wake, symbolizing the collapse of his ambitions.
Violence is bad. Okay? It solves nothing. It's a lesson we should all remember. Except maybe who gets the last sausage, but that's different. In that case, it's every person for themselves.
The message was clear. Brute force couldn't solve everything. True strength lies in wisdom and restraint. It was a lesson Hitler, with his bruised ego and aching body, wouldn't soon forget. The power of noodle arms had triumphed. Section 5. Strength, Compassion, and Other Superpowers. Goku, leaving the defeated dictator to contemplate his life choices, vanished with another instant transmission. He was off to find that all-you-can-eat buffet, because even heroes need to eat. But the message lingered. True strength wasn't about conquering or controlling others. It was about compassion, understanding, and a healthy dose of sharing, especially when it came to sausages.
Just a thought.
It was a message that resonated even in that war-torn world. A little spark of hope in a time of darkness. And hey, maybe, just maybe, it's a message we could all use a little more of today. Now, if you'll excuse me, I hear there's a great pretzel stand down the street.
As if feeling the weight of the approaching clash, the earth groaned. Dust swept across the barren fields, revealing scars of past battles, a testament to the struggle for survival. Each grain of sand seemed to hold echoes of countless clashes, whispering tales of heroism and despair. The wasteland stretched to the horizon, a gaping wound on the face of the earth. It stood as a reminder of the relentless pursuit of power and the price the world paid for it. An eerie silence prevailed, broken only by the crackling energy of the two Saiyan warriors locked in battle. Goku and Vegeta, their ki flaring with primal power. Their names were synonymous with strength, rivalry, the very essence of Saiyan pride. They were legends, their battles etched in history. The two titans circled each other, a tense standoff on the brink of annihilation. Every movement was calculated, every glance a challenge. The air crackled with anticipation, a silent prelude to the storm of energy about to be unleashed. It was as if time itself held its breath, a moment pregnant with possibilities. This wasn't their first battle, nor would it be their last. Their history was a tapestry of clashes, each encounter more intense than the last, but this time something felt different. An urgency, a premonition hung in the air, a sense that this battle would change everything. The stakes were higher, the emotions rawer, every punch, every energy blast carried the weight of their destinies. The fate of Earth, the fate of their families hung precariously in the balance. They fought not just for themselves, but for everyone they held dear. Yet, beneath their rivalry, a new emotion flickered. A grudging respect, an understanding of each other's strength and determination. The first blow landed with a deafening boom, shaking the very foundation of the battlefield. Vegeta, fueled by pride and relentless training, unleashed a furious barrage of ki blasts, each one more powerful than the last. With a playful smirk, Goku weaved through the attacks with lightning speed, his movements a blur as he met the challenge head-on. His agility was unmatched, his reflexes razor-sharp. The ground trembled beneath their feet, rocks shattered, trees turned to splinters as their power clashed in a dazzling display of light and sound. Shockwaves rippled outward, a testament to the sheer force of their collision. Each blow landed with bone-jarring force, a testament to their immense strength and unwavering resolve. The sound of fist against fist filled the air, each impact resonating like a drumbeat. But then, as he countered a particularly fierce attack, Goku's eyes were drawn to something unexpected. A flicker of realization, a moment of clarity amidst the chaos. In the midst of the fury and mayhem, he found himself captivated by Vegeta's nose. An odd thing to notice in such a heated battle, yet he couldn't help himself. It was perfectly sculpted, strong and proud, as if embodying Vegeta's indomitable spirit, his unyielding pride. A strange emotion washed over him, a mixture of awe and something altogether unfamiliar. It was as if for a fleeting moment the battle faded away and all that remained was this peculiar admiration.
Vegeta, your nose, it's magnificent.
Goku blinked, momentarily stunned by his own bizarre outburst. He had fought countless battles, faced down countless foes, but never had he been so thrown by something so trivial. His gaze lingered on Vegeta's nose for a beat longer, brow furrowed in genuine bewilderment. It was as if he were seeing it for the first time, truly appreciating its unique structure. Around them, the battle raged on, yet Goku remained oblivious, lost in his newfound fascination. The punches, the energy blasts, it all seemed to fade into the background.
Vegeta, your nose, it's magnificent. Why haven't I noticed this before?
The declaration hung in the air, an absurd non sequitur in the midst of their epic battle. It was as if time itself had stopped, the universe holding its breath, waiting for Vegeta's response.
What? My nose? Kakarot, are you serious right now? This is a fight, not a beauty pageant.
Vegeta, caught off guard by the unexpected comment, stumbled backward, eyes wide with disbelief. He had expected many things, but this was not one of them. He had expected insults, taunts, even threats, but a compliment about his nose? This was beyond anything he could have imagined. This was the worst, or was it the best? Vegeta couldn't decide. Goku, oblivious to Vegeta's reaction, continued to stare, utterly mesmerized. He was captivated by the details, the subtle curves and angles. He had never seen anything quite like it. It was as if Vegeta's nose held some sort of mystical power. The way the light played off it at different angles, the way it flared slightly when Vegeta took a sharp breath in the heat of battle. It was simply mesmerizing. It was a moment of unexpected beauty in the midst of their chaotic brawl.
Did he just compliment Vegeta's nose? In the middle of a fight?
That's our Goku, always full of surprises.
On a nearby ridge, the other Z fighters gathered to witness the battle were speechless with astonishment. Krillin choked back a laugh, his hand flying to his mouth in surprise. Piccolo pinched the bridge of his nose, letting out a long-suffering sigh. Even Tien, always stoic and composed, couldn't help but raise an eyebrow in amusement.
What in the world is that idiot going on about? He's supposed to be fighting, not admiring the enemy's nostrils.
Even Nappa's ghost, doomed to wander the earth for eternity, couldn't help but shake his spectral head in disbelief.
Calloway, stop right there. This is your last warning.
Sweat stung his eyes, blurring his vision momentarily. He blinked rapidly, trying to clear his sight. His breath came in ragged gasps, each inhale feeling like fire in his lungs. The chase had been relentless, and his body was screaming for a reprieve. Officer Lucas Hayes pounded through the maze of East Edgewood's industrial district, his every step fueled by determination and adrenaline. The labyrinthine layout of the area was both a curse and a blessing, offering countless hiding spots, but also potential traps. His boots echoed off the rusted metal and cracked concrete, a rhythmic reminder of the urgency of his pursuit. Each step reverberated through the deserted alleys, a symphony of desperation and resolve. Up ahead, his quarry sprinted, a fleeting shadow against the setting sun. The golden light cast long, eerie shadows, making it difficult to distinguish between reality and illusion. Ethan Calloway, wanted for armed robbery and suspected of multiple homicides, was a wraith dancing just beyond his grasp. His movements were fluid, almost graceful, as if he had rehearsed this escape 1,000 times. The fleeing figure didn't even hesitate, his confidence unnerving. It was as if he knew every twist and turn of this industrial maze, every nook and cranny where he could momentarily disappear. If anything, he seemed to pick up speed, disappearing down a narrow alleyway choked with overflowing kinder, chen choto with woimsters, oden dumpsters and discarded tires. The stench of rotting garbage filled the air, adding to the oppressive atmosphere. Hayes, his heart pounding a heavy tattoo against his ribs, followed. His mind raced with strategies, trying to anticipate Calloway's next move. He couldn't afford to lose him now. He knew Calloway was desperate. Desperation made people unpredictable, and unpredictability was dangerous. Hayes had to stay sharp, keep his wits about him. Cornered prey was the most dangerous kind. Calloway had nothing left to lose, and that made him a formidable adversary. Hayes had to be ready for anything. As Hayes burst into a dimly lit loading dock, his hand instinctively went to his holster. The dim light cast eerie shadows, making it difficult to see clearly. Every corner could hide a threat. The air hung thick with the stench of stale oil and something else. Something acrid and sharp, like gunpowder. It was a smell Hayes had come to associate with danger. He could hear the distant whine of sirens approaching, backup finally on its way. The sound was both a comfort and a reminder of the urgency of the situation, but it felt like an eternity. Every second stretched out, the tension mounting with each passing moment. Hayes knew he had to act quickly. He was alone, facing a predator with nothing left to lose. The stakes were high, and failure was not an option. Hayes took a deep breath, steeling himself for the confrontation ahead. This was it, the moment of truth.
It's me. He's on me. You know the plan. Stick to it, no matter what happens.
Calloway ducked behind a stack of wooden pallets, his chest heaving, sweat slicking his skin. The air was thick with tension, every breath a struggle as he tried to calm his racing heart. He knew he had to stay focused, had to keep his wits about him if he was going to survive this. He could hear the thudding footsteps of the cop closing in. Each step seemed to reverberate through the warehouse, a constant reminder of the danger that was just moments away. The officer was relentless, and Calloway knew he had to act fast. A feral grin spread across his face. This was the moment he had been waiting for, the moment when he could turn the tables. He had been planning this for weeks, every detail meticulously thought out. Now, it was time to put that plan into action. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. He had come too far to give up now. The determination in his eyes was unmistakable, a burning intensity that spoke of his resolve. He would see this through to the end, no matter the cost. He fished out his phone, his fingers trembling slightly as he dialed a number he knew by heart. The number belonged to someone he trusted, someone who had been with him through thick and thin. He needed their help now more than ever. The voice on the other end was calm, chillingly devoid of emotion. "We're ready," the voice said. "Don't disappoint us." The words were a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding around Calloway, a reminder of the stakes at play.
We're ready. Don't disappoint us. Remember, everything hinges on this. Stay sharp and stick to the plan.
The line went dead. Calloway stared at the phone for a moment, the weight of the situation pressing down on him. There was no turning back now. He had to see this through. Calloway pocketed the phone and pulled out a battered Zippo lighter, flicking it to life. The small flame danced in the dim light, a beacon of hope in the darkness. He knew what he had to do next. He touched the flame to the fuse of a Molotov cocktail he'd prepared earlier, the gasoline-soaked rag sputtering and catching fire. The sight of the burning rag filled him with a sense of purpose. This was his chance to turn the tide. He could hear the cop getting closer now, his heavy footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. Good. Let him come. Calloway's mind raced as he considered his next move. He had to be smart, had to use the environment to his advantage. He'd lead the fool right into his trap. Every step had been planned, every detail accounted for. The cop had no idea what he was walking into. Calloway's heart pounded in his chest as he prepared for the final confrontation. He was done running. It was time to fight. The determination in his eyes was unwavering. He had faced countless challenges before, but this was different. This was personal. He would not back down. He would not be defeated. The time for action was now.
Benton, I got him cornered in the loading dock. He's armed and... He's not alone. There are at least 2 more suspects with him. We need backup now.
Officer Benton, his partner's face grim in the flickering red and blue lights of their patrol car, pulled up to the mouth of the alley. The tension was palpable, the air thick with anticipation and dread. Benton could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him, every second ticking by like a countdown to disaster.
Hayes, report. What's your status? Do you have eyes on the suspects? Over.
Static crackled over the radio, a harsh reminder of the chaos unfolding just out of sight. Benton strained to hear any sign of his partner's voice, his heart pounding in his chest. He repeated the call, his voice tight with concern. "Hayes, do you copy? What's your status?" The silence that followed was deafening, each second stretching into an eternity. There was a beat of silence, then a burst of static, and then Hayes' voice, strained and urgent. "Benton, it's bad. They're heavily armed and not backing down. We need immediate assistance. I don't know how long we can hold them off." A guttural scream cut through the transmission, followed by a terrifying barrage of automatic gunfire. The sound was deafening, echoing off the walls of the narrow alleyway. Benton didn't hesitate. He grabbed his shotgun and sprinted towards the source of the chaos, his blood turning to ice. Every instinct screamed at him to be cautious, but he knew there was no time for hesitation. Lives were on the line. The air was thick with the smell of gunpowder and the acrid tang of fear as Benton rounded the corner. The scene before him was a nightmare come to life, a chaotic blend of fire, smoke, and violence. His heart sank. The loading dock was an inferno of fire and shadows, flames licking at the night sky. The heat was intense, almost unbearable, and the roar of the flames drowned out all other sounds. And in the midst of it all, 2 figures silhouetted against the blaze exchanged fire in a deadly dance. Their movements were frantic, desperate, each shot a bid for survival. Benton knew he had to act fast, or the situation would spiral even further out of control. Taking cover behind a nearby crate, Benton steadied his breathing and aimed his shotgun. He had to make every shot count. The lives of his fellow officers and possibly innocent bystanders depended on it. Just as he was about to fire, he heard the distant wail of sirens. Backup was on the way. Benton felt a surge of relief, but he knew the fight was far from over. They had to hold the line until reinforcements arrived. Benton signaled to Hayes, who nodded in understanding. They would have to coordinate their efforts, work as a team to bring the situation under control. The odds were against them, but they had no choice. They were the thin blue line standing between order and chaos. With a deep breath, Benton advanced cautiously, his shotgun at the ready. Every step was measured, every movement calculated. The night was far from over, and the hail of fire and fury showed no signs of abating.
We need eyes on those officers. What the hell is going on in there?
Sergeant Miller, SWAT team leader, slammed his fist against the armored vehicle's dashboard. The radio crackled again, a cacophony of shouts and gunfire.
Multiple hostiles heavily armed. We need backup now.
Miller didn't need to be told twice. He grabbed his helmet, his gut churning with a sickening premonition. This was more than just a routine arrest gone wrong. This was a full-blown firefight, and his men were walking into a death trap.
Go, go, go!
He roared, leading his team into the heart of the inferno. The air was thick with smoke and the stench of burning rubber. They fanned out, taking cover behind overturned vehicles and mounds of debris, returning fire with controlled bursts. But for every enemy they took down, 2 more seemed to appear, their shadows dancing in the flames. They were outgunned and outmaneuvered. This wasn't a fight anymore. It was a massacre.